Hi guys, Donald Trump was having a go at the EU in what can only be seen as taunting them to impose more tariffs on imports from the US. The president once again spread the misinformation that the EU was set up to harm America. Now, he repeated the claim that Europeans don't buy American cars, but his country purchases millions of European ones, such as BMWs, Volkswagens and Mercedes-Benz, showing a complete lack of understanding why. He also took a few potshots at the former German Chancellor Angela Merkel, which didn't make a lot of sense, then closed with complaints about why there aren't Chevys in Munich. Weird stuff, have a listen.
The European Union was formed to do just that. The European Union was formed to hurt the United States and on trade. And they've got to come to the table, and they're trying to. But the European Union has taken terrible advantage. They don't take our food products. They don't take our cars. We have millions of their cars, BMW, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, many others. They come in by the millions. There are no Chevrolets in Munich, I can tell you that.
Okay, before we continue, I have to respond to a few things here. First of all, look, there's no point even responding to what he said about the European Union being set up to damage America. That has been debunked ad infinitum. Now, but the other point, why are there no Chevys in Munich? Well, there are Chevys in Munich, but they're not in huge supply. The reason being is, over the last number of years, the Chevy's parent company, General Motors, it invested in Europe. It tried to break into the European market. It didn't do very well for a number of reasons. One is the reputation of American vehicles in Europe is not very good. So Europeans are more likely to buy European cars or maybe Japanese vehicles, South Korean ones, instead of American ones. So it's a difficult market to break into, and starting off from a bad reputation is not going to help your situation. Now, General Motors, I believe, bought Vauxhall and Opel, or was part ownership of those for a while. But then what came along in 2016? Brexit. And General Motors has said that Brexit disrupted supply chains. Or back in 2017, when it eventually pulled out of Europe, it was going to create problems for it. So it decided, let's leave before things get much worse. So it was a difficult market to break into. United States vehicles do not have a good reputation in Europe. And the opposite is true when it comes to American consumers. The same in China. Maybe it's different now in China, but up to a few years ago, European vehicles, Mercedes, BMWs, Volkswagens, were seen as status symbols in China. The upper class, the middle class, would drive these vehicles as opposed to Chinese ones or Japanese ones. The same in the United States. Status symbols, but also people viewed them as reliable, as good quality vehicles. The opposite. Now, whether that's true or not is another thing, but it's all about perception. So the perception is that European vehicles are better than American ones. So if you have more money, you're more likely to buy a European one. It's not always true, but that's the perception. In Europe, the perception was that American vehicles are not very good, so people are less likely to buy them. It's a difficult market to break into, but you need to convince people that your vehicles are of good quality, that they're not going to break down, and that they're going to hold on to their value.
I said to Angela Merkel when she was there, as she was letting millions of people infiltrate Germany, which was not so good, we would call them illegal immigrants. But she
no, we call them asylum seekers and refugees.
Made them legal. But I said to her, and I get along with her very well, I said, how many Chevrolets do we have in Munich or Frankfurt? Why, none, Donald, none. I said, you're right. And yet we take in millions and millions of cars. No, those days are over.
Okay, so you're going to deny Americans the ability or the option of buying European vehicles? Is that the plan? Now, Donald Trump is all over the place. So at the time I upload this video, it's possible that Donald Trump has changed his mind once again on tariffs. But when it goes the other way, the only way to encourage Europeans to buy American vehicles is to convince them that they're high quality, that they're not going to break down, that they're reliable, that they're value for money, that they will hold on to their value. And I think that's a steep ask. It's a difficult mountain to climb. You can't force people to buy your products. You have to convince them. And there are good American products that do very well in Europe. But when it comes to vehicles, cars, it's a difficult sell. And Donald Trump either doesn't know this or he's pretending not to.